look 3 out 2 in post.
Speaking of Hannah, how good does she have to be this year for you guys to reach up to? I don't want to put too much pressure on her.
No, I think, she's got to make a nice jump. I would like her to be able to, she's had a summer. She's healthy, but we lost about 3 weeks in the Iowa system when she was busy winning the gold medal, which is great because that's as important, if not more important, than mental. Now, hey, she's played with the best in the world. She's been better than the best in the world in the United States. I think I'm biased, but I think her defense is why they won the gold against Cardoza. So I think that what I'm hopeful for. In fact, we're going to go have coffee after this. I just haven't even talked to her because I've been recruiting and we had a couple practices and I've been flying all over. So I can't wait to kind of get a feel for what her experience was like and what her mental space is. But what I'm hoping is that type of experience gave her something mentally and internally that can lead a relatively younger, inexperienced group.
Sure.
We had new last year, but we had some key people that had been here that learned how to run. It was really in our lineup, Lucy the most in that lineup till later. Now we have Hannah returning and Kylie, but the experience, Lucy was a 3-year vet and a WNBA player that came in.
Sure.
Now everybody is, the new ones are 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen. So the learning is taking a little bit longer, but it's good.
Now that Hannah's a senior, what are you seeing out of her leadership-wise, growth-wise? Is she kind of coming out of her shell to direct the others?
Well, she hasn't been with us very much for the summer, so I think so.
Yeah.
But this is only her, I think, second practice since coming back from USA basketball. So it appears that way. I thought her spring was good, but she missed our basketball camp.
Yeah.
That's a big bonding week because we're really together 24/7.
Right.
They have 5 a.m. workouts, basketball camp, and a lot kind of happens then. But I think so. I think she looks more confident. I think she's there's something that happens when you become a senior. Just every realm of growth, especially for Hannah. Like there was always, the seniors that were really talking, or when she was a freshman, man, you had Kate and Caitlin. So now I think she's embracing that, and I what I've seen so far, it's just we haven't had a lot of summer left or yet that I've gotten to see, her handle those moments in practice.
We're almost to the end of the summer here. What have you learned about Layla and Addie Deal, in particular, your freshman?
Yeah, I love this group.
Yeah.
I do. Those 5 new ones are really talented collectively, and they're great people. We always have great people, but them coming in and melding so quickly, and they really have understood that mission of the Iowa culture, and it's just been fun. I think the fans, I'm so pumped for everybody to start to get to really know them. And, Addie and Layla, really the long and the short of it, really, they're really good. They're really good. Layla, just the way she moves, and she just has so much potential. Because coming from high school, they just don't know what they don't know. And they're never allowed to be physical. Man, if they even square up with 50% speed, it's like, foul, flagrant. Here I want them to really set the tone. But she's got a nice touch. And then Addie, she's just coming in, she just has a way, seeing the floor, understanding, she's trained, she's been at the highest levels. Right now she's so busy trying to orchestrate it. I want her to be a little more creative to get her shots, to get scoring, but she's a really great passer. She does, remind me of Caitlin in the sense of when you first watch Caitlin, everybody was all excited about the shots, and you are with Addie's got great range. But I've always loved Addie's passing. She can full court pass on a dime, and she can see it. So I just need to get that balance of her also looking to create for herself.
How important is it to, you've always talked about the freshman post, they come in and they haven't really played someone that is what they're going to see in the college level. How much have Ava and Layla been just perfect for each other? I mean, Ava's only a sophomore. For them to go to battle and practice and kind of learn each other's skill sets and defend each other and all that.
I think that's really been great. It's been nice for Layla to have a bigger body because she's never, especially in Alaska, there's been nobody that, there just isn't a lot of people that played whenever I'd watch film, she was just so much bigger. But I think they're, Ava's temperament. Ava can compete, but also she brings a lot. And there's just a really a cool relationship. I think with all of our team, but a cool relationship. They can battle and you can get intense and you can get a little cranky, but there's still a respect and a really love for the teammate that I've seen really forge pretty early. And I think especially for post players, when you're learning as a young one to really know when to throw an elbow because you need to, and it's the smart thing. It's nice to have a personality like an upperclassman that's not taking it personally.
What kind of improvement are you looking for from Hannah on the court?
Well, last year we slid her back to the 5 because I want a little bit more consistency and being a threat, certainly from 15.
Yeah.
And being able to, give a pump fake and get if she's out on the perimeter and get to the rim and finish. But we just weren't able to see that last year. But it's because we didn't have it. She missed the summer with her knee injury. So this summer, I know she's been working, right? She's been with USA Basketball, all the things. So we just got to get that a little more consistent. And that's why I'd kind of like to work a little bit, if we can, on a 2-post offense to get them both in there, but bring her in a little bit so she can play around that elbow. But I just want to get that outside shot and her passing a little bit more consistent. But I really like what I've seen so far.
Have you seen a difference out of her since coming back, just having practiced and played against, the best players in the country for a few weeks and learning from some different people?
I have. It's just a confidence. She's just, when she's her presence coming back. I mean, she's spent all that time at USA Basketball too, and you're going against the best players in America, which was for 98% of that experience, that was the best thing that could happen, because they beat a lot of people 100-40, right? And everybody plays. And you get the Brazil game, the championship, and you got a couple, Santos, who's playing with Caitlin at Indiana Fever, and then you got Cardosa, Chicago Sky, so then they were started to play. But I think that was the best thing, is she's going against Flazé Johnson, right? And she's playing again with Reagan Beers of Oklahoma. And you just got a lot of different people. She was handling the ball screens beautifully, so on defensively. So I think that all that has really gotten her a lot of confidence to come in here. And we'll just keep working on that vocal. But like today, what I loved, we were doing a shooting drill, and they were missing some uncontested layups because sometimes it just weren't as focused. And it was her voice that says, "Let's make some layups." And she said it with an expectation that I had not heard before. So I was really happy to hear that.
And she got the invite from Team USA. Did she need a little nudge from you at all?
Yeah, she did. I mean, when she got it, she wasn't. She was a little bit hesitant, and you could kind of sense. And she's like, "Well, I'm a little bit nervous." I said, "That's normal." And a lot of people had made the teams before, and she'd never been invited before. And I said, well, it doesn't mean that they're going to take them, because if you were invited, it means that you're there for a reason. So I think the biggest thing for Hannah was coming out of this comfort zone, and I had to really tell her that no matter what, if this was just a 3-day deal, you going out there and sizing up, other WNBA potential draft picks, people were going to play during the season or hopefully in the NCAA tournament. None of this can do anything but help you. So then she kind of, okay, so we're going to do it. And then we get out there a little nervous. But I'd heard from some of the, floor coaches, the coaches on the floor, and actually Kara Lawson, who coached the team, they'd have nothing to do with selection. They just coach whoever the selection committee. But I heard the first day Hannah looked a little tentative, but by the second day they felt, they didn't have anything to do with it. They just said there was no way they could not pick her. And that made me really happy. She really took that. And I think that's the biggest thing for Hannah. I've always wanted her to get out of that comfort zone. And sometimes she sets that limitation in her mind and just like, unsure, should I? And we've all seen it, right? When she'll take over a game and all of a sudden she goes, whatever the kids say, the beast mode, and she's rebounding in that rah, all that. You see that, like on occasion, is what I've tried to really work with her on, is I just need that, but just your constant level of expectation of yourself and those around you is high. And I've got to believe that you win a gold medal, and you're a key reason that we won a medal, is that should translate. And I'm going to keep fanning that flame.
You brought in Emily.
When it comes to Layla, just the progression she's made from the first time we saw her, it's pretty evident. But the thing that Layla, and just her ability to like ask questions. I think you were explaining something, you're about to rerun it, and then she had, I think it was right when Tegan was on that.
Yeah.
athlete side, I guess, what does that say about her to ask those questions, to really seek out the information, especially being a young player?
You know, just like her, she's got a humble confidence, and you know, she's able to get clarification. Sometimes freshmen will just be waiting, they'll ask their buddy, or they might come and ask you later. But I think that's just who she is and why she was such a sought after recruit. And she just plays with such a joy. I just love how she moves in this world. She's got a lot of gratitude and just really is pleasant. And you know, she also battles some homesickness. You know, that's a long way away. And you know, you just kind of, you know, we talk a lot about how two things can be true. You can really be homesick, but you can really love it here. And she's really navigated that really, really well, because she's got an awesome family, and they're all based in the Northwest. So she is really moving pretty well. And I just think that I like that confidence. I like when the players can know when to ask a question in practice and feel like they're able to do so. And it's cool that she can do it as a freshman.
You brought in Emily Rodriguez to kind of fill that Sita Fulter position.
Yep.
Sid did a great job there, obviously, but Emily's, you know, an inch or two taller. Just, you watch her on the court, she looks like exactly what you would want at that small forward position. Just how well does she fit into what you guys are looking for
I
there?
think she's going to be really great in time. The challenge is the system she came from was a lot different of what we're doing, right? And so when they have to think for a while, they kind of lose that for just a little bit. But when it comes, boy, it's, you know, she can score at every level, and she's so strong. And she's got a beautiful touch from the three, and she finishes really well with contact. You know, she's got that pro build. So we just got to stay a little patient. I think even with Addie's and Layla's, they're just, sometimes it just goes too fast, and they're just not quite as accurate, or we're not quite as smooth and clean. But if we can kind of grow that group up, I would love to by the Big Ten season. But I think there's going to be more ebbs and flows because they're so talented. But with that, you have to get them into the system of which we play. And when they think so much, it takes a little time. But boy, I think Emily's going to be really, really good.
Seems like you can't give